The market rockets higher off support. Are the bulls back in control? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, so in yesterday's video, we were looking for a move higher off of support, and how that move took shape would be important, and the NQ absolutely exploded higher in what looks like an impulsive move, while the ES also did well. Now the question is, can the bulls continue this momentum? I'll get into that in just one second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, with a strong move higher, we've basically eliminated the wave 4 possibility, but we do have other options, so let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 5-minute SPX chart, and normally we deal in futures, but today we're doing the SPX because the pattern is a little cleaner. With all the noise in the overnight, sometimes the ES can get a little sloppy to see, so I wanted to do the SPX today. So all of these numbers are SPX numbers, not futures numbers. So off of the low, okay, we had essentially a wave 1, and it's a little bit to be determined on this, as this could also be the wave 1 top. But we have a wave 1 as it stands, then you have a wave 2 pullback, and then they hit the 618 extension of waves 1 and 2, which is a perfectly natural target for wave 1 of 3. And then they started to pull back, and now they're moving back up toward the pivot. And again, remember, when you move toward the pivot, you get kind of choppy here before you actually break out. Now, the overall target, if they are able to break over the pivot at 41.72, the overall target for this wave would be 42.40, but this would just be wave 1 of C, and then we'd look for a pullback and a move higher from there. Now, based on the NASDAQ structure and what I'm forecasting after this finally tops, it is possible that we get kind of a blow-off top-looking move higher here, where it's more direct and less wavy than normal. So it is possible that this wave 3 extends, and instead of coming up to the 42.20 area where it would end, we would see it extend further up toward 42.70 to 80 in that region before seeing a wave 4 pullback and then one more push higher after that. So it's going to kind of just depend on how the market takes shape over the next week and a half or so to see what exactly we're going to get, because the NQ structure leads us to look in a more direct route higher, whereas the ES's structure could easily fill out a 5-wave, wave 1 of C, and then look for a pullback from there. So if it's going to be more traditional, we'd still look for 42.40, and then a pullback in wave 2, and then 3, 4, and 5 up to the 43.40 area, 43.50 area. So we would look for that kind of target if that's the case. But again, if they're able to push higher and break through 41.97 directly without a significant pullback, they can pull back, but we don't want to see a significant drop. If they're able to push through 4200 and then 4220 in a direct fashion, I would look for a more direct move towards the 4250 to 70 area before we see any kind of pullback on the ES. The alternative count to the downside would be where we made a wave 1 down, okay? This is an ABC up, and then we'd be looking for a wave 3 to start to the downside. So again, this would be wave 1 down, wave 2 up, and then look for wave 3 to the downside to start. It's a little high for a wave 4. It technically hasn't invalidated, but it did push through the 50% retrace, and once it does that, it becomes pretty unlikely that we're in wave 4. But that's also a possibility where we could get one more low and then higher. But what we need to see is, 1, can they break out to the upside? And 2, if they don't, what kind of structure do we get on the way down? So as we're looking at this, those are the 2 main potentials, the ABC higher, and then we break down lower in a wave 3 to start a bigger move to the downside, or the direct push up to 42.40 or higher, depending on how they break out, if that's the case. The NASDAQ, again, is pointing toward a more direct breakout, so I would be very cautious about shorting until I saw some signs of weakness. Over on the NASDAQ, okay, here we are on the 1-hour NASDAQ, and if you've been watching these videos over the last month or more, I've told you that the NASDAQ has been telling the truth the entire time, that it was sitting extremely bullish the entire time. We've called out most of these numbers pretty well on the move up, and that's what the NASDAQ continues to do, is tell the truth and hit the targets, and it has a really nice bullish structure overall, much cleaner than the ES, which is why we've had so much bullish optimism in the market overall. The ES's structures haven't been great, but the NASDAQs have, and it's been leading the entire way. So on the NASDAQ, we got our ABC pullback to almost the exact support number we were talking about, and then overnight, okay, here's your NVIDIA spike. and then they just kept going. The NASDAQ was pretty relentless today. You could count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and have 5 waves up here just above the high that would top, and then you'd look for a pullback here. Now, there's just a couple issues with that. Number one, if they pull back as deep as they should in a wave 2 here, it does put the ES in a tough spot, as the ES would likely pull back and be deeper than it needs to be. And also, it projects pretty high on the NASDAQ to almost 15,000, which is higher than we think we're going to get. And so that is two things that cause me to think we could make a more direct move here. They don't have to, and they can take this to 15,000 if that's the setup we get. But it is possible we see a more direct move higher, and what would tell us that is a break over 14,175. If they break over 14,175, then it's much more likely we're in a direct move higher in a very extended wave 3 that would point us up toward the 14,300 area, and then we'd look for a wave 4 pullback and then one final push up to the 14,400, 14,500 area on the NASDAQ to kind of give us that full pattern. Again, in these moves up, especially if they are preceding a big drop, as I think they are, then you can get a blow-off type top here where it's more direct and less wavy, as I said, on the ES. So again, NASDAQ can be in that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup, and we expect a wave 2 and then a breakout after that. But again, they've been very bullish. They haven't given us much of a pullback, and if they break over that 14,175 level, that is an indication we're in a more direct move higher. If we do pull back, the target for that pullback would be around the 13,750 area, and then we'd look for a move higher to break out over this top and break through the pivot, taking us more toward a 15,000 area. The other potential is that if the ES made an ABC up and was going to start falling down on wave 3 of C, this could be the 5th wave up. It is above the wave 3 high. We were targeting about 14,060 on this move up. They got to about 14,030 originally, but then they extended wave 3, so I pushed the target up toward the 618, which is the ideal target anyway at 14,400. So we could see this being the overall wave 5 high, but I think that's pretty unlikely at that time. But if that's the case, we would see an impulsive move to the downside, a 5-wave move that would be pretty strong and break this low down here. So that's kind of what we're looking at on the NASDAQ. It is leading, it is telling the truth, and it has a pretty bullish structure as we speak. Guys, if you love the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link, and it will take you over to the website. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible plans, and they both come with a 7-day free trial because I want you to get in there. I want you to make sure you love it and become part of our trading team before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel at any time. We just started our first training course, and it is our Elliott Wave for Beginners course. It's Elliott Wave the ways I use it and teach it, and it comes with both memberships. In the first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where I go over exactly where we are in the counts and what to expect, as well as the training material you just saw. We cover the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing trade, which means our trades can last anywhere from a few days to a few months, so we don't trade quite as often as a day trading room does. However, if you are interested in day trading as well as individual stocks, you need to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, day trading, and PT's reduced risk binary method that just crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures the trade that's so unique. Something you kind of have to see to understand, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put $4,000 into an account trading mini ES futures, averaging 3 to 4% gains per week, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we'd love to have you in these rooms so we can all make money together. All right, key takeaways for today. The ES is the issue on the structure, but overall it does have a potential 1-2-1-2 setup where it would break out. Again, if it pushes through 4,200, okay, and then directly through 4220, then the wave 3 is extending, and we should look for a more direct route. However, if it's going to be more traditional, we would expect it to push up over 41, up to 4197, then pull back, and then break out again to the upside from there. Over on the NASDAQ, NASDAQ has been bullish. It has a very bullish structure. It does have still a breakout structure to the upside. If they push over 14,175, that's what we would expect. However, they can do a pullback towards the 13,750 area first in a wave 2, but that does project higher towards 15,000. So if The last option would be that the NASDAQ is topped and they get a 5-wave structure down. If that's the case, they would break this low, and that would point us down in a C wave to start the bigger move down. Guys, it's the weekend. It's a holiday weekend. It's Memorial Day. Go out and camp. Spend time with your family. Go swimming. Have a barbecue. Get away from the computer. Get away from the market. Have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you next week.